Dear Esther, I sometimes feel as if
I
I've
think
given
my
birth
frame rate of
to
my
this
camera is
encounter.
high enough though.
Somewhere between the longitude and latitude, a split opened up, and it beached remotely here. No matter how hard I correlate, it remains a singularity, an alpha point in my life that refuses all hypothesis. I return each time leaving fresh markers that I hope, in the full glare of my hopelessness, will have blossomed into fresh insight in the interim. Come back. At night, you can see the lights sometimes from a passing tanker or trawler. From up
That
on the
was a
cliffs, they
death
are
warp
one day,
indeed.
but down here, they fugue into ambiguity.
Don't
For
underestimate
instance,
this
I
game,
cannot
dude.
readily tell if they belong above or below the waves. The distinction now seems banal. Why not everything and all at once? There's nothing better to do here than indulge in contradictions whilst waiting for the fabric of life to unravel. A wonderful sight. The moon cresting the junction between the cliff path and the stone circle. It cast a shadow of the ridge across the beach, all the world as if you had signed your name in untidy handwriting. When someone had died or was dying, or was so ill they gave up whatever hope they could sacrifice, they cut parallel lines into the cliff, exposing the white
Okay, this
chalk
is the most
beneath.
difficult trick in this game.
You could see them from the mainland or the fishing boat, and know to send aid,
Okay, I got
or
it.
impose a cordon of protection. And wait a generation until whatever pestilence stalked the cliff paths died along with its hosts. My lines are just for this. To keep any would-be rescuers at bay. The infection is not simply of the flesh. Dear Esther, I have now driven the stretch of the M5 between Exeter and Bristol over 21 times. But although I have all the reports and all the witnesses, and have cross-referenced them within a millimetre using my ordnance survey maps, I simply cannot find the location. You'd think there would be marks to serve as some evidence. It's somewhere between the turn-off for Sanford and the welcome brake services. But although I can always see it in my rear-view mirror, I have as yet been unable to pull ashore.
Audio desync.
I had kidney stones and
Interesting.
you visited me in the hospital. After the operation, when I was still half submerged in anesthetic. Your outline and your speech both blurred.
Okay, these rocks are
Now
solid.
my stones have grown into an island and made their escape, and you have been rendered opaque by the car of a drunk.
Super. Blah, blah, blah. I've
I've begun my ascent on the windless slope of the western side. The setting sun, was an inflamed eye squeezing shut against the light shone in by the doctors. My neck is aching through constantly craning my head up to track the light of the aerial. I must look downwards, follow the path under the island to a new beginning. They found Jakobsen in early spring. The thaw had only just come. Even though he'd been dead nearly 7 months, his body had been frozen right down to the nerves and had not even begun to decompose. His fingernails were raw and bitten to the quick. They found the phosphorescent moss that grows in the caves deep under the nails. Whatever he'd been doing under the island when his strength began to fail is lost. He'd struggled halfway up the cliff again, perhaps in a delirium, perhaps trying to reach the Bothy's fire before curling into a stone and expiring. Climbing down to the caves, I slipped and fell and have injured my leg. I think the femur is broken. It is clearly infected. The skin has turned a bright, tight pink, and the pain is crashing in on waves, winter tides against my shoreline, drowning out the ache of my stones. I struggled back to the Bothy to rest, but it has become clear that there is only one way this is likely to end. The medical supplies I looted from the trawler have suddenly found their purpose. They will keep me lucid for my final ascent.
Plus 2.1, gained nothing, gained 2.3.
From here, this last time, I have understood there is no turning back. The torch is failing along with my resolve. I can hear the singing of the sea creatures from the passages above me, and they are promising the return
Interesting.
of the gulls.
Really interesting that I gained time on that map. Because I got stuck on the rock.
I'm traversing my own death throes. The infection in my leg is
Wow.
an oil rig that dredges black muck up from deep inside my bones. I swallow fistfuls of diazepam and paracetamol to stay conscious. The pain
These rocks are
flows through me like an underground sea.
I'm trying to think of a word with S that means not solid. Soft. Roughly, I guess, yeah.
I will hold the hand you offered to me, from the summit down to this well, into the dark waters where the small flowers creep for the sun. Headlights are reflected in
Not
your
solid.
retinas, moonlit in the shadow of the
Squishy.
crematorium chimney.
Come on, crouch. I'm getting tired. That would be a lot easier, a lot more relaxing, and a lot faster. This is seriously the best part of the run just because it's holding W. I guess that could work, except for that I sometimes don't want to hold W. Right from Oasis! 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 I think typing I'm lazy is more effort than typing my name, but that's just me. Okay. Yes. I'm seriously gonna have to look at this video and the world record. Provided that will still be the world
moon
record.
over the
I'm
Sanford
confused.
Junction,
I'm
headlights
genuinely
in your
confused.
Donnelly
I
drove a
saved
grey hatchback without a bottom.
8
All the
seconds.
creatures of the tarmac rose to sing to him. All manner of symbols crudely scrawled across the cliff face of my unrest. My life reduced to an electrical diagram. All my gulls have taken flight. They will no longer roost on these outcrops. The lure of the moon over the Sanford Junction is too strong. Of fire and soil, I chose fire. It seemed the more contemporary of the options, the more sanitary. I could not bear the thought of the reassembly of such a ruin. Stitching arm to shoulder and femur to hip, charting a line of
No,
thread like
someone didn't
traffic
broke my
stilled on a
time, but
motorway,
I just might
making it
right
all
now.
acceptable for tearful
And I don't know
aunts
why.
and traumatized uncles flown in specially for the occasion. Reduced to ash.
This rock is
mix
solid.
it, make a phosphorescent paint for these rocks and ceiling. hall by the roadside, by the exit for Damascus, all ticking and cooled, all feathers and remorse, all of these
Yeah.
signals routed like traffic through
I
the
guess
circuit
in
diagrams
like
of our
a regular
boats,
gameplay
those badly
wise,
written boats torn bottomless
jumping
in
and
the swells,
crouching
washing us forever ashore.
doesn't make sense, but oh well, it makes sense, but it's not needed. But in a speedrun, wow.
From here, I can see my armada. I collected all the letters I'd ever meant to send to you, if I'd have ever made it to the mainland, but had instead collected at the bottom of my rucksack, and I spread them out along the lost beach. Then I took each and every one, and I folded them into boats. I folded you into the creases, and then, as the sun was setting, I set the fleet to sail.
Come on.
Shattered into 21 pieces, I consigned you to the Atlantic, and I sat here until I'd watched all of you sink.
Come on. Oh, Snook 24.
A sound of torn metal, teeth running over the edge of the rocks, a moon that casts a signal as I lay pinned beside you, the ticking of the cooling engine, and the calling
Not sure
from
what
the great
dag
height,
means, but
all my mind as a
I'm
bypass.
assuming it's some kind of high. I just saw like it highlights and short words with my name. Rock, please.
I've begun my voyage in a paper boat without a bottom. I will fly to the moon in it. I've been folded along a crease in time, a weakness in the sheet of life. Now you've settled on the opposite side of the paper to me.
I need a keylogger that logs all my keys into a notepad file, a txt, and then look for the Dear Esther part,
Disintegrates. We will
and just have all them ADADs.
when this paper aeroplane leaves the cliff edge and
Can't say my
parallel
fourth
paper
map is on
trails in the
par,
dark,
but
we
we'll
will
see.
come together.
8 seconds. Depending on how fast I mash.
If only Donnelly had experienced this, he would have realized
My
he was
left
his own
hand is really
shoreline,
tired.
as am I. Just as I am becoming this island, so he became his syphilis, retreating into the burning synapses, the stones, the infection.
Rock. That's like 5th rock I got stuck on now.
Bent back like a nail, like a hangnail, like a drowning man clung onto the wheel, drunk and spiraled, washed onto the lost shore under a moon as fractured as a shattered wing. We cleave, we are flight and suspended.
Okay.
These wretched painkillers, this form inconstant. I will take flight. I will take flight.
It's not. It's painful. It's really painful. It's not even speed while strafing, it's regular while strafing, dude. Getting really tired.
Dear Esther, I have burned the
I gotta
cliffs of
look into
Damascus.
this.
I have drunk deep of it. My heart is my leg, and a black line etched on the paper all along this boat without a bottom. You are all the world.
This
like
is
a
the
nest
source
of
engine.
eggs that unbroken form like fossils, come together, send small black flowers to the air. From this
Can
inception,
someone go to the Sorcerer's channel and look
from
up
this
what my
island,
claimed time on
flight.
there is?
From this grief, love.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering about Anarchist. I'm gonna have to compare these runs. Because I remember that run being alright. Definitely better than the shit I pulled off just now. And thanks for the GG's, guys. 1944. I definitely had more than 2 seconds of loadings, so that's definitely a world record then, but because that time is without loads. And I just got a 1946 with loads. And unless my loadings were like shorter than 2 seconds. I'm confused. I'm really confused, but I'm happy. Yeah, I did. SDA claims 1938. Interesting. Is the frame rate failing? Oh, it is. Damn. Interesting. I gotta look into that too then. Huh. Oh well. I got world record for now. That frame rate could be fucking fucked up though in comparing this shit. Whatever. And that's the end of this game, and that's the end of my stream too. Nope. Hick console? Nope. Nope. And that's why this game is awesome to speedrun. It's just simple. Well, there's like 3 death dwarfs, and that's the only spectacular thing. I wish this game would support proper demo recording.